I was proud to vote in favor of Speaker Johnson. He's a devout Christian. He's an accomplished lawyer. He's genuinely a kind person. He's one of my classmates. We came into Congress together. I have no doubt that he's going to lead this body guided by the Bible, the Constitution, and the Golden Rule, conservative principles. I'm excited for Speaker Johnson, but I'm also excited that we can finally get back to work at addressing the major issues facing our nation and facing the world, and that's exactly what we've done. Hey everybody, I hope as always that you're doing well. It's been a busy week in Washington. I've got some big updates for you, so let's get right into all of that. First up, after a lot of debate and even more rounds of voting, the House of Representatives, we finally have a new speaker. Congratulations to Mike Johnson of Louisiana, the 56th Speaker of the House of Representatives. I was proud to vote in favor of Speaker Johnson. He's a devout Christian. He's an accomplished lawyer. He's genuinely a kind person. He's one of my classmates. We came into Congress together. I have no doubt that he's going to lead this body guided by the Bible, the Constitution, and the Golden Rule, conservative principles. I'm excited for Speaker Johnson, but I'm also excited that we can finally get back to work at addressing the major issues facing our nation and facing the world, and that's exactly what we've done. So immediately after Speaker Johnson was sworn in, the House considered House Resolution 771. This is a long overdue resolution formally expressing the United States' support for Israel in their war against the terrorists Hamas. The resolution passed with an overwhelmingly bipartisan vote of 412, but 10 members did vote against it. While this won't come as a surprise to many folks, it is unfortunate. There are still some in the House ranks who are siding with Palestinians and attempting to justify terrorists kidnapping Holocaust survivors and beheading babies. Members of the squad, including Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Jamal Bowman, they all voted against the resolution, while others voted present because they were too afraid of the liberal mob to express their support for our strongest ally in the Middle East. Even President Biden is asking Israel to basically pump the brakes, not seek retribution, and go out there and try to work towards making a country out of the people that was just beheading the babies of their children. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Again, it won't come as a shock to many because these are the same members of Congress who've continued to spread disinformation about the hospital bombing in Gaza. That brings me to my final topic. This week, the Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Oversight and Accountability, that's the subcommittee which I chair, held a hearing on State Department office known as the Global Engagement Center, or the GEC. Now, according to its mission statement, GEC exists to counter foreign state and non-state propaganda and disinformation efforts aimed at undermining the stability of the United States, undermining the stability of our allies or partner nations. That's what it's supposed to work against. Translation, this is supposed to be the Biden administration's nerve center for countering foreign disinformation, whether from China or Russia or Hamas or some other entity out there that's affecting America or one of our allies. Examples of disinformation were with very severe consequences for any of those entities. Now, when a Palestinian Islamic Jihad rocket misfired, hit a Hamas hospital. Actually, it didn't even hit the hospital. It hit the parking lot in all likelihood. The Hamas-run Ministry of Health immediately blamed Israel for 500 civilian deaths, and outlets in the United States did absolutely no fact-checking of the terrorists' claims. That rapid spread of disinformation, it ignited a powder keg in the region. Not just in the region, but here at home in the U.S. Violent protests broke out at U.S. embassies. They broke out throughout the region. Hamas leadership called for a global day of rage, and the president's diplomatic efforts suffered when countries like Jordan refused to meet with the President of the United States of America, despite the fact that we provide a significant amount of their defense. If this isn't the kind of thing that the State Department's anti-propaganda machine is focused on, then what are they focused on, and what are they spending your tax dollars on? Those were the questions that we were asking. That's the question that I attempted to get answers on in our hearing, but GEC, they did not have satisfactory answers for this. Congress and the Foreign Affairs Committee will be debating whether or not this office should be reauthorized next year, and as of this moment, I'm far from convinced that they're out there accomplishing the mission that they outlined for themselves. Disinformation is a very real problem, but disinformation also moves quickly, and it doesn't seem like GEC is capable of conducting the type of rapid response that's needed to deal with situations like the hospital bombing as they occur. We also know that GEC is an entity that works with third-party organizations. They provide, let's call them grants, to third-party entities that are supposed to be abroad, think being in Europe, being in Asia, being in South America, somewhere else. They're not supposed to work against America or American entities or Americans at all. But some of those third-party entities that they've been giving money to have been out there deciding what are good sources of information for Americans and what are bad sources of information for Americans. And they have even created lists. Let's tell you who they decided were trustworthy and not trustworthy. The top 10 for what is not trustworthy, they said that we shouldn't be trusting The Blaze or Real Clear Politics or One America News or Newsmax or others. Who were they saying was trustworthy? They said that the New York Times was trustworthy, the Huffington Post was trustworthy, the Associated Press was trustworthy. Now, if you look at what we just spoke about with Israel, those three were some of the chief entities that were spreading the lie that the hospital bombing was an attack by Israel that killed 500 Palestinians. That's an example of how they're not exactly getting the job done and might be partnering, not might be, in all certainty, are partnering with the wrong entities to get the job done. All in all, let's talk about this week. It was a productive week in Washington. We're going to keep the momentum moving. We'll be back next week here in Washington, continuing to pass individual appropriations bills that address the federal government's spending problems. We'll keep pushing to secure the southern border, and we'll continue to support our ally Israel. As always, it is an honor to serve you. I look forward to seeing you all around town. I wish you all the best. You all take care. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I will be back on YouTube with more exclusive content, so stay tuned.